What is the best way, in your judgment, to communicate that prosperity is down, that economic freedom is down, that government is too big, that we're drifting towards socialism, and it's not a good thing? In other words, what's the best way to say this to make it effective?
A few things, Larry. First, let's start at home. We parents should start giving our kids allowances again. Here's $10, Johnny, and now I'm the federal government going to take 5 of it back from you. That'll teach them right away when they're young what happens when others come in and feel like they have a right to your hard-earned money and what should be done with it. But moving forward, I think that socialism and capitalism they're not just misaligned for the public, they're misunderstood. Many young people don't necessarily understand it. That's not a slight against young people. I used to be a young person many decades ago. I like young people, but they don't know that socialism ends up having people who want socialism be very rich. So for example, Chavez, Castro, Stalin, these were wealthy people who were trying to put forth a policy that suggested we're going to take wealth away from the privileged few and spread it out to everyone else, whereas they ended up being very wealthy. I think some of the people in this country right now calling for socialism are among the wealthiest, just like the climate change hypocrites. They're the ones flying their private jets to the World Economic Forum.
Vladimir Putin may be the richest guy on the planet.
Could be.
I mean, seriously.
Could be.
I mean, to use the notion of hypocrisy is very
That's
important.
right. And sadly, and the destructiveness, in other words, of these despotic tendencies and trying to bring socialism everywhere. Look what he's doing in Ukraine. But I think that we should go back to the beginning and make sure that our curriculum teaches principles that are incredibly, I think, time-worn and important to Americans so that they understand and appreciate what a free market, free capitalist system means. Also, they have to understand what competition means. Competition in the classroom, competition in business. This whole call for equity and socialism means that they want equality of outcomes. They want us all to have the same thing at the end. We believe in fairness, which means everybody starts at the beginning. And fairness really undergirds a lot of tax policy, immigration policy. People are saying it's not fair that plumbers and pipe fitters are paying for the student loans of lawyers and doctors. They understand that fairness means equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome.
Can we make a case, I got to get out, but merit, yes. Not various affirmative actions and not all these categories of, gender and sex and whatever, color. Merit matters. If you work hard, you should succeed. Does that work? Does that line of reasoning? Is that a communications tool, or should we stay away from that?
No, of course it works. And I think there's all types of diversity, obviously. Some schools and some employers look at racial diversity or gender diversity. I think the Supreme Court is going to have something to say about that with respect to college admissions soon, Larry. But there are all types of diversity. There has to be diversity of thought. There has to be religious diversity. There has to be the fact that your parents go to college. Maybe you're a first-generation college student. So we have to get back to respecting the richness and the diversity of our nation, not pretending that we should all look the same and sound the same and believe the same. Then we have a shot at promoting capitalism and free market society.
And we should be fearless.
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 You're
right?
peerless.
Fearless.
We should all be fearless.